I heard a little ding, but I don't see the little yellow light. I always like to wait for the little yellow light. And there it is. It's live. Hey, Internet friends, MagicBrad, Synergy Cafe, and the Synergy Collaborative. Have you got your coffee today, hopefully?
I do.
Janice.
Yes.
I've got Janice online, and she's a neighbor. She's only a couple hours away, and we're going to talk to her about some of what she does in lifestyle. But first, we want to get to know who you are. So, Janice, could you tell us a little bit about who you are? Do you got kids? You married? What do you do? Who are you?
My name is Janice Fletcher. I hear an echo, do you? Are we good? There's no echo?
I don't hear an echo on my end, but...
Okay, that doesn't matter then. And I am an educator by trade. I have been a principal of a couple schools and done all sorts of things in education. Married, have 2 big golden retrievers, and live on the lake down here in Lake Wylie in South Carolina, just on the other edge of Charlotte. And I'm an author, speaker, and trainer.
Okay, so that leads right into the next question of what is it that you do? You're an author, speaker, and trainer. So on what? Judo?
Well, education. I've written a couple books. One I self-published, and the next I'm looking for a publisher. The first one is about the aha moment, and the second one is Teach with Spirit. So my message is basically about bringing inspiration to educators. I guess in a nutshell, that's been my history that I've always been told that I do. What do I do? Well, although I'm an educator, I'm always been told that I'm the inspiration. So even though I'm very practical, I'm very sort of inspiring.
You sort of give teachers that to keep going.
Yeah. Well, no matter where, no matter what, I just sort of, that comes through. PTA meetings, whatever it is. It's like I can't not do that, so that must be what I do.
Okay. Well, the next question is where? Where do you do it? Do you have like a home office that you work out of? Or are you like me where you fly wherever the coffee shop internet access is? Or do you have an office that you work out of? Or do you work
at a fabulous office. I wish I should turn this around so you could see my fabulous office.
You can see your backdrop. It's beautiful, that big blue spiral and stuff.
Yeah, that's a painting of an owl. Long, beautiful, very synchronistic spiritual story. But anyway, I had offices as a principal and as an administrator in education. I worked in Atlanta area for most of my career as an educator in Cobb County. And then I came to Charlotte. I worked as a principal coach, and I worked with the KIP Foundation, so I've done all these kinds of things because I have a long, rich career, saying like just a little bit old. And so now I get to do what you do, and that is that I get to work from my home. And I get to travel all over whenever people want me to speak or train.
That's the way to do it these days. I used to be in the events industry, and it got a little stressful, and I had a mild stroke. And that's when I decided I didn't want to be tethered to an office chair or imprisoned in a cubicle. And if I'm going to die, I want to be doing it like on a beach somewhere, having fun. So the next question is, how do you do your work? I'm assuming if you're an author and speaker, I guess that's kind of a no-brainer, but do you want to elaborate maybe a little bit on?
Well, it is. Most authors, have their book and that they speak about their book, but I also do trainings and workshops and webinars and so on. And my messages, although have been written to the story of my education experience, apply to everyone. When we talk about the aha moment, everybody's had an aha moment. So when people ask me to speak about that, whether it's whatever kind of business setting or whatever, it always fits in somewhere. So they're universal messages. It's just that I have the history of being an educator. So with the book, the second book that will be published is a workbook. So that will be a whole different experience of training and working with the workbook. The first book was used as a book study for the University of North Carolina for the education students there. So speaking, training, workshops, webinars, keynotes, all that.
Okay, well, that comes into my final question, and then we can get into some more details of what you have going on currently. But this is my favorite question, that's the big W, the why. Why do you do this? Why aren't you like a yoga instructor, or why don't you work at... Okay. Okay.
I am.
Okay, well, anyways, why do you teach teachers to be inspired? What is it inside of you that makes you want to do that as opposed to teaching yoga full time?
Having been a public school educator for many, many, many years, I was always confined by what I was allowed to say, what was appropriate, what was politically correct. And there's two parts of me. There's a very nice, wonderful, educational, practical left side of brain of me. And then there's this wonderful spiritual, creative side of me. And I was always sort of in the closet with my spiritual side. And so I have those two sides have intertwined in the book. And I can say what I want, when I want, how I want, to whom I want, and without any barriers or restrictions. And it is, it's again, I can't not. I'm so compelled to do this, to give this message out that I must do it. That's why I do it.
Got it. I get that. There's getting to be a lot of that. It's seeming that the whole spirituality thing is getting into like regular mainstream business and the academic system and all that. And it's changing because a person can actually get a pretty good education by just getting online and going right to work into life.
It's true. I just heard that there were online courses in North Carolina for regular elementary school students. But you can go to public school online.
Well, I was just talking the other day with a friend about that. Like when I was in school, we learned about Columbus and the Santa Maria and the Nina and the Pinta. And I don't know what value that has to me other than I could use it as an analogy for something. But
right.
Give me some real life stuff.
Yeah, it's not about what you know anymore. It's about what you have taught me today, Brad. And that is about Synergy Cafe and how to use this wonderful tool to help me. And that's what we need to be teaching students. It's not about what you know, but how fast can you get the information.
Thank you. And a lot of students these days know that they are not really interested necessarily in the money. They're interested in the innovation and saving the planet or making a difference. And they can figure out how to make the money just by selling T-shirts on Teespring. That's no big deal. It's a technological thing for them. And they want to just be heard. And the internet allows us to be able to do that, because with the way that I do this, after this, it's recorded, it goes up to YouTube, it goes out, who knows where. I intentionally put it in certain places because I know a little what you do. So I'll use some keywords like teacher and education and academia and college. But I have no idea who's going to find this, how they're going to find it. But serendipity will, the synchronicity and the synergy will just happen. So let's get into anything that you have currently going on. Do you have some upcoming workshops that you're like live events, or you got a new book coming out, or what's going on?
I do. My first book, which is called Wisdom from the Inner Teacher, turning aha moments into owl moments, and an owl moment would be optimal wisdom learning, which is my work. I do workshops and trainings, and I'm doing keynotes and breakout sessions down in the Montessori Schools conference in Florida and in November and so on, and North Carolina charter schools. Anyway, I have a few of those happening. But most importantly, I'm looking for a publisher to help out there. For my second book, Teach with Spirit, the Teacher's Inward Journey Guide. And that is, I have it all ready to go other than the graphics and a publisher. And it's very exciting because I'm already doing trainings on it. But I feel compelled to find a proper publisher rather than self-published. So I'm giving it as much time as I can for that. First one was self-published. And again, it is that message to all of us to do what you're doing, Brad, and that is being inspired with what you do. Whether it's teaching or doing radio or whatever it is that you do, that you really are inspired by it and feel the spirit literally within you as you do what you do. That's my message.
Well, my thing is connecting people, and you just gave me what you're looking for. You're looking for publishers. Now I know exactly where to distribute this video and all this, and put the right keywords in there to get it out to publishers. Publishers wanted. Another thing I want to interject is this owl thing, which is kind of interesting. My wife, she was a Spanish teacher at the University of Minnesota for many years. So she's also a teacher, and now she's a coach. And what she does is she teaches coaches how to get their business going. And now she's shifting into something else that's much larger. And it's interesting because we're just following serendipitous synchronicity to go to the next level. And we were doing a thing just this last weekend, walking around Asheville and just being in tune with stuff. And we saw this card, and it was a card of an owl. And the owl was wearing a beret with a cup of coffee. And that is exactly my wife. She's the teacher,
Ah,
she's the wise owl. She wants to go to Paris, and she loves to work out of coffee shops.
oh, isn't that wonderful? I need to send her my book. If you make that, let me have an address and I'll mail her one of my books.
Oh, that'll be wonderful. She loves books. She gobbles them up and she cries when she has to get rid of them, and then she goes to Barnes & Noble and gets more.
Yeah, yeah.
She loves books, so she'll really appreciate one about an owl.
Well, I come to Asheville often, so maybe we should hook up at a literal cafe and have a cup of coffee and talk about owls and so on. But the owl thing came because I want people to access wisdom. And wisdom to me is truth, spirit, whatever you want to call it, which comes from the right brain, the creative side. And so wisdom, it is optimal when students in the classroom or any one of us receive information that way. That means we're following our intuition. We're using our left brain for the rudiments, and the right brain is leading rather than the opposite. So what I would like is for all students everywhere to be optimally, gaining wisdom, learning that way.
Interesting, because my wife is also a gifted shaman, and she went and hung out with the shamans in Peru and did some interesting stuff down there. So it'd be very interesting for you to come and visit. I'm ready. You coming today?
It was a shaman that connected the owl to me as my totem.
Really?
Uh-huh. I've had many shaman experiences. I mean, have shamans where I'm not a shaman, but have had shamans help me, guide me, and so on. Through this message in particular.
A lot of little synchronicities right here on this little hangout.
It is, of course, always is.
Okay, well, I don't like to keep these too long because people have lives and stuff, so we can talk after this, but I'll sign this off, and then people can watch this video nice and quick, because I see some of these things that are like 2-3 hours long, and I think, I ain't got time for that.
Yeah.
So this is just to introduce you to maybe a publisher somewhere.
Thank you.
So I appreciate you taking the time, Janice, and we can chat a little bit after this, but I'm going to sign off, and
thank you
everybody for watching. Thank you, Janice.
Thank you.